ASP.NET MVC interview question and answer part 3. Now we have question number 21. What is the difference between routing and URL rewriting? Many developers pairs routing to URL rewriting, since both look similar, can be used to make SEO friendly URLs. But both the approach are very much different. The main difference between routing and URL rewriting is given below. URL rewriting focused on the mapping one URL, new URL to another URL old URL, while routing is focused on mapping a URL to a resource. URL rewriting rewrites your old URL to new one, while routing never rewrite your old URL to new, but it maps to original root. What is the root constraint in ASP.NET? Root constraint is a way to put some validation around the different root. Create root constraint and restricted to numeric normally. Create root constraint. Suppose we have defined the following root in our application and you want to restrict the incoming request URL and numeric ID only. Now let's see how do you help to regular expression. Restrict to numeric ID only. Now for the routing engine will consider only those which have a only numeric ID, like example URL, else it will be considered that URL is not matched into the root. How do you root table is created in ASP.NET MVC? When an MVC application start first from application start method in global ASAX is called this method called the register route method. Register route method creates a root table for MVC application. Question number 24. What is the important namespace in ASP.NET MVC? There are some important namespace as given. System.web.mvc. This namespace contains classes interfaces that support MVC pattern for ASP.NET web application. This namespace include class that represent controller factories, action result, view, partial view, and model binders. System.web.mvc.ajax. This namespace contains the class and supports Ajax scripting in a ASP.NET application. The namespace includes support for Ajax script and Ajax option setting as well. Now third, system.web.mvc HTML. This namespace contains class that helps render HTML controller in the MVC application. This namespace includes classes that support form input control like partial view and validation. What is view engine? View engine in a MVC subsystem. View engine is a MVC subsystem which has its own markup syntax. It is responsible for converting server-side template into HTML markup and rendering it to the browser. Initially, ASP.NET MVC ships which one view engine web form ASPX and form ASP.NET MVC3 a new view engine Razer introduced with ASP.NET MVC. You can also use other view engines like Spark, NML, NHML, etc. How view engine works? View engine works as a following three main components: view engine class, view class, template parsing engine. So we go on start point one, view engine class. This class implement the iView engine interface and responsible for the locating view templates. View class. This class implement with the iView interface and responsible for the combining the templates with the data from the current context and convert into the output HTML markup. The template parsing engine. This parsing templates contain the view executable code. Now we are going on question number 27. What is the Razer view engine? Razer view engine is the advanced view engine that introduced with ASP.NET MVC3. This is not new language, but it is new markup syntax. Razer has a new and advanced syntax that are compact, expressive, and reduced typing. Razer syntaxes are very easy to learn and much clean than web form syntax. Razer uses @ to write a markup S. How to make custom view engine? ASP.NET MVC is an open source and highly extendable framework. You can create your own view engine by implementing iView engine interface by inheriting. Virtual path provide view engine abstract class. How to register custom view engine in ASP.NET MVC? To use your custom view engine, you need to register it by global x ax.cs file application start method, so that framework will be use your own view engine instead of default one. Now we are question number 13. Can you remove default view engine in ASP.NET MVC? Yes, you can remove default view engine, Razer form and web form provided by the ASP.NET MVC. What is the difference between Razer and web form engine? The main difference between ASP.NET web form and ASP.NET MVC are given below. Razer view engine is an advanced view engine that was introduced with MVC3. This is not a new language, but it is a new market. Now we go on question number 32. What are the HTML helpers in ASP.NET MVC? HTML helper is just a method that returns HTML string. That screen can be represent any type of content that you can want. For example, you can use HTML helpers to render standard HTML text like HTML input, button, and images tag, etc. You can also create your own HTML helper to render more complex content such as a menu, strip, or an HTML table to display database data. Now we go on to question number 33. What is the difference between HTML helpers? There are three types of HTML helpers. First, inline HTML helper. Second, built-in HTML helper. And so first of all, we can discuss about inline HTML helper. These are created in the same view by using Razer view help tag. This helper can be reused on the same view. Built-in HTML helpers. Built-in HTML helpers are an extension method on the HTML helper classes. The built-in HTML helper can provided into then divided into three categories: a standard HTML helper, strong type HTML helper, and template HTML helper. Standard HTML helpers. These helpers are used to render some most common type of HTML elements like HTML text box, checkbox, etc. A list of most common standard HTML helpers are given. The strong type helpers. The HTML helper are used to render the most common type of HTML strongly type view like HTML text box, checkbox, etc. The HTML are created based on model property. Templated HTML. This HTML figure out. These helpers figure out what is the what HTML elements are required to the render based on property of your model class. This is a flexible approach for displaying data to the user, although it requires initial care attentions to set up proper HTML with template HTML helpers. Make use data types, attribute, and data annotation classes. Custom helpers HTML helper. You can also create your own custom helpers method by creating extension method on the HTML helper class by creating state. What are the URL helpers? URL helper allow to render HTML like a raw URL. The output of this of this helper is dependent on the routing configuration of your ASP.NET MVC. Question number 35. What is validation summary? What the validation summary helps display an unordered list of all validation error in the model state dictionary. It is a boolean value, true and false, and based on boolean value display the error. When boolean partner value is true, it show only model error executing and property level errors. Example, any error that associate with the specific model properties. When boolean value is false, it is model level and property level errors. What is Ajax helper? The Ajax helper are used to create Ajax enable HTML elements like Ajax enabled form link which performs requests asynchronously. Ajax helper are extend method of Ajax helper class which is existing system.web.mvc.ajax name. Now question number 37. What is unobtrusive Ajax? The ASP.NET supports unobtrusive Ajax which is based on jQuery. The unobtrusive Ajax means that to help use method to define your Ajax feature rather than adding block of code thought your view. Question number 38. What are the various configuration option of Ajax helper? The Ajax option class define property that allow you to specify callback for different stage in the Ajax request lifecycle. They are following properties provided by Ajax option class to Ajax helper. What is cross-domain Ajax? By default, the web browser that allow Ajax call your own web application a site of origin. Example, site hosted server. This restriction help to prevent various security issues like cross-site scripting attack, but sometimes you need to interact with internally hosted like Twitter and Google. Hence, to interact with this external API or service, your web application must supported JSON request or cross-origin resource sharing cores. By default, ASP.NET MVC does not support JSON-P or cross-origin resource sharing. For this, you need to a little bit coding configurations. Now this is the third part of ASP.NET MVC question and answer is finished. We will meet soon on part 4. Thank you very much.